What if one day, you open your banking app, and your money is still there, but you can't touch it? No withdrawals. No payments. No access. Within minutes, ATMs go dark, card machines stop working, and stores switch to cash only. Panic spreads, but the truth is even more terrifying. This has already happened before. From financial crises to cyber failures, from natural disasters to government actions, millions of people have been locked out of their own money overnight. And here's the part nobody talks about: banks don't have to collapse for your money to become useless, they only need to pause. In this video, we're uncovering the hidden weakness of the modern financial system, how access to your money can disappear instantly, what actually happens when banks go offline, and why the one thing most people ignore could determine whether you survive smoothly, or get stuck helpless when everything stops working. Because this isn't about losing money, it's about losing access to it when you need it the most. At first, it feels like nothing. A small delay. A glitch. You unlock your phone, tap your banking app, and wait. The loading circle spins longer than usual, then freezes. You try again. Same result. Maybe it's your internet. You switch to mobile data. Still nothing. Around you, life looks normal, people walking, cars passing, stores open, but something feels off. You head to the nearest ATM, thinking cash will solve everything. But as you approach, your pace slows. The screen isn't glowing like usual. Instead, there's a cold, lifeless message: out of service. You check another one. Same message. A third. Still nothing. Now your chest tightens slightly, not panic yet, but confusion turning into unease. You step into a grocery store, grab a few essentials, and walk to the counter. You tap your card. The machine beeps, then declines. The cashier doesn't even look surprised. She just points to a hastily taped sign near the register: cash only. And suddenly, in that quiet, ordinary moment, reality shifts. Because this is the moment most people never planned for. Not when money disappears, but when access to it does. Modern life has trained you to believe your money is always there. It's in your account, your app, your digital wallet, secure, invisible, constant. You don't think about it because you don't have to. Every transaction is instant. Every payment seamless. Your balance exists everywhere at once, synchronized across systems you'll never see, powered by networks you'll never question. It feels permanent. But that feeling is built on something fragile. Electricity. Connectivity. Trust. Remove any one of those, and the entire illusion begins to crack. Because the truth is, your money doesn't live in your pocket anymore, it lives in a system. And systems can fail. History has already shown us how quickly that failure can happen. In 2008, during the financial crisis, people didn't wait for banks to collapse. They rushed to withdraw their cash the moment trust started to erode. Lines formed outside banks, stretching down streets, as fear spread faster than facts. Accounts were still there. Balances still existed. But that didn't matter. Because people weren't afraid of losing money, they were afraid of losing access to it. And when enough people feel that fear at the same time, the system doesn't break because it's empty, it breaks because it's overwhelmed. Then came September 11, 2001. The attacks didn't destroy the financial system, but they severed the connections that kept it alive. Power outages. Communication failures. Payment systems froze. Banks couldn't settle transactions. Nearly 40% of payments failed, not because money vanished, but because it couldn't move. The system didn't collapse, it paused. And in that pause, something dangerous emerged. Dependence. Natural disasters tell the same story, but louder. After Hurricane Katrina, entire regions lost power and communication overnight. ATMs stopped working. Card machines went offline. Digital money became useless in an instant. Communities that relied entirely on electronic payments suddenly had no way to buy food, fuel, or basic supplies. It didn't matter how much money was in the bank, if you couldn't access it, it might as well not exist. And people adapted the only way they could. Cash became king again. Those who had it could act. Those who didn't had to wait, but here's where it gets even more unsettling. Not all disruptions come from disasters. Some come quietly, invisibly. During the early days of COVID-19, there was no system failure, no blackout, no cyber attack. Just uncertainty. And that alone was enough to trigger millions of people to withdraw cash. Banks remained open. Systems stayed online. Yet still, people lined up, pulling out thousands, not because they had to, but because they feared a moment when they might not be able to. And in 2022, something different happened. In Canada, during the trucker protests, bank accounts were frozen, not by failure, but by decision. Overnight, some people found themselves cut off from their own money. No warning. No malfunction. Just inaccessible. And in that moment, the question changed. It wasn't about whether the system works. It was about who controls your access to it. This is the hidden vulnerability no one likes to talk about. Your money is not just about balance, it's about permission. Permission granted by systems, by networks, by institutions that function perfectly, until they don't. And when they stop, even briefly, the impact is immediate. You can't buy food. You can't get fuel. You can't move. Not because you're broke, but because you're disconnected. That's the difference between wealth and access. And in a crisis, access is everything. Right now, as you're watching this, everything probably works. Your card swipes. Your app loads. Your balance updates in real time. It feels stable, reliable, permanent. But every example, from financial crises to cyber risks, from disasters to government actions, points to the same uncomfortable truth: the system doesn't need to collapse to fail you. It just needs to pause. And when it does, even for a few hours, even for a single day, the consequences ripple through everyday life faster than most people can react. Because we've built a world where money moves at the speed of light, but survival still depends on what you can access in the moment, and that's where the real question begins. Not how much money you have, but what happens if you suddenly can't reach it. So in the end, this isn't really a story about banks, apps, or even money itself. It's a story about control. About access. About the fragile line between everything working and everything stopping without warning. Because the uncomfortable truth is, the modern financial system is incredibly strong, but only as long as the conditions supporting it remain intact. The moment those conditions crack, whether from power failure, cyber disruption, natural disaster, or even human decision, the system doesn't collapse dramatically, it simply pauses. And in that pause, reality hits harder than most people are prepared for. Your balance still exists. Your account is still there. But your ability to use it disappears. And in that moment, the question isn't, how much do you have? It becomes, what can you actually do right now? This is why preparedness isn't panic, it's perspective. It's understanding that access and ownership are not the same thing. That digital convenience, while powerful, comes with invisible dependencies most people never think about until they fail. And when they do fail, even temporarily, the difference between stress and stability comes down to one simple factor: options. The ability to act instead of wait. To move instead of freeze. To make decisions instead of being forced into them. Because when systems pause, time becomes the most valuable resource, and hesitation becomes the biggest risk. But here's where most people get it wrong. They assume preparedness means going extreme. Pulling out massive amounts of cash. Distrusting the system entirely. Preparing for total collapse. That's not just unnecessary, it can actually make things worse. History shows us something very different. The people who navigate disruptions best aren't the ones who panic, they're the ones who prepare quietly, rationally, and proportionally. They don't try to escape the system, they simply avoid depending on it completely. They build small layers of resilience into their lives. A little cash on hand. A little redundancy. A little awareness. Not because disaster is guaranteed, but because interruption is inevitable, and that's the key difference. This isn't about predicting the end of the world. It's about recognizing the small, temporary gaps that happen in the real one. The hours, days, or weeks where systems don't function the way they should. Where card machines fail. Where networks lag. Where access becomes limited. And in those moments, the people who prepared don't look smarter, they just move faster. They don't wait for systems to come back, they continue living while others are forced to pause, because at its core, cash isn't about wealth, it's about time. It buys you time when systems are down. Time to think. Time to adapt. Time to avoid bad decisions made under pressure. It's not a long-term solution. It's not protection against every scenario. It's a bridge, a simple, practical tool that carries you across the gap between disruption and recovery. Because history also shows us something else, systems almost always come back. Power is restored. Networks reconnect. Banks reopen. But the question isn't whether recovery happens, it's how you survive the space in between, and that space is where everything changes, because when the screen says unavailable, when the ATM doesn't respond, when the card machine declines over and over again, that's the moment where preparation stops being an idea and becomes reality. Where theory meets friction. Where calm planning separates from reactive panic. And in that moment, the people who understand this don't feel fear, they feel clarity. Because they already ask the question most people avoid: what happens if I can't access my money right now? And more importantly, they already have an answer.